this conservation planning and developing of a plan to what we call a 9-step conservation planning process. And it's very important that we try as best we can to follow the steps that are listed in the 9-step planning process. And the first one is pretty simple. We identify the problem or the concern, and most of the times that simply means you're going to come into the office with a concern, whatever it may be. I have an issue with a gully washing on my field, whatever the case may be. So we have an idea of what the problem is. We got to determine what the objectives are. So what is it that you're wanting to do? So as we move through this process, it's kind of like a little interviewing process. We'll get to the point where we're going to inventory the resources. And inventorying the resources might be as basic as looking at maps of your farm and gathering what information we can from those maps, soil types, topography, and things of that nature. But also, we are going to look at the tract of land where you have the resource concern located. Because there may be additional concerns, maybe some that you're not aware of, or perhaps the concern that you thought was the reason why you had the problem, maybe it's not the problem. So through the planning process, we're going to come out and try to help identify those resource concerns. And perhaps while we're out on your farm, we may also point out some additional concerns on your farm that you may be able to have addressed. Perhaps there are some concerns that we identify that we may be able to assist you with. Would be your technical assistance or with some type of financial assistance to help you address those problems. But whether they are addressed or not, we're hopefully going to be able to help you identify what some of those resource concerns are, if not all of those resource concerns are on your farm. Now, once we've inventoried the resources, we're going to go in and analyze the resource data. Once we've gotten our field work done, we're going to come back to the office. We're going to start looking at what do we really have going on based on all the resource concerns that we've identified on this farm and based on the objectives of the particular individual. And we're going to formulate alternative solutions. How can we go about it? If there's a soil erosion problem, okay, let's look at maybe no-till if this farmer has a conventional tiller system. This farmer may not want to go completely to no-till. Let's look at using cover crops. That's another solution. Let's look at reduced tillage or mulch till. So we're going to look at the different potential solutions that may help you to address that particular resource concern, because when you come back in to work with us, we want to, if we're going to do justice to you, we want to be able to offer you the different options that we may be able to help you with. And so we need to look and see what are those potential solutions that may help you to solve whatever that resource concern is that you identified, or perhaps the additional resource concerns that we identified when we came up to the farm. So we've come up with solutions, and we've evaluated these solutions. We're going to have you involved in this process as we go through and talk about the different solutions, because we want you to make it as educated of a decision as possible. So in step 7, that's where you're going to make a decision based on the information that we provided to you. We've looked at the resource concerns, and we've made as best we can available to you the solutions to address those resource concerns. And here is where you need to make a decision as to what is the course of action that you would like to take on that tract of land where that resource concern was identified, or resource concerns. And then in step 8, you're going to go out and implement that particular plan. And we're going to come out in step 9 and evaluate the results of that particular practice. Once you notify us that you've carried out practice, we've got to come out and inspect the practice that you've installed and make sure that it meets the specifications that are required for that particular practice. Now, we do have a regimen that we follow based on how and what we can work with. I understand that there may be issues on your farm that we may or may not be able to help you with. Our issues are based on resource concerns, and we have major resources that those resource concerns have to fall upon in order for us to address them. soil, water, air, plants, and animals are the major resource concerns that we address when we're looking at helping you with your operation. But there was one additional one that was added, the human consideration. So we have to also consider you, the individual. In every presentation, encouraging everyone to be a good steward of the land. Because if you're not going to be a good steward of the land that you farm today, then there's not going to be a farmer tomorrow to farm the land that you currently farm.